Now that we have reached the end of the lesson, let's do an activity to review the concepts learned. Click the link to access the report of the delegation of the African Commission on Human Rights on its fact-finding mission to Burundi in December 2015. Now examine this report in light of what we have discussed in this lesson and respond to the following questions. Can you identify the focus of the fact-finding? Does the report mention the sources of information? Does it discuss the process of gathering facts? Does it mention standards that were used as reference? Did you note the following in your review? Part 1 of the report describes the mandate and objectives of the fact-finding mission. Part 1.4 of the report mentions the people and institutions who were interviewed during the mission. The list includes state actors, independent agencies such as the National Human Rights Commission, international actors such as members of the diplomatic community, international NGOs such as the International Committee for the Red Cross, and journalists and representatives of national civil society organizations. Part 1.5 of the report describes the methodology. It describes the framework used in gathering data and information, the method of analysis, and the evidentiary standards used. Note that it mentions that the evidentiary standard of balance of probabilities was used in making its findings. Part 1.4, point number 9, and Part 1.6 mention the limitations of the report and the challenges faced by the mission. It identifies stakeholders who could not be interviewed during the mission, or on-site visits that could not be made. Thus, at the outset, it identifies sources of information that may have been excluded. It also mentions the reasons for such exclusion, that is, paucity of time and lack of access to incident sites and witnesses. Keep a note of these points. We will discuss them in the next lessons. We have reached the end of this lesson. You should now be able to understand the meaning of fact-finding in relation to human rights work, explain the purposes of fact-finding, discuss the principles governing fact-finding, and identify the methods of collecting information.